Good morning. My name is Justin, and I'm going to guide you through a little yoga flow-ish practice today. So find your way onto your mat into Shavasana, your most comfortable version. If you need to grab a bolster or some blocks or a blanket or any other prop that you might need, maybe you want to throw some music on, pause the video now and go ahead and do that. Alrighty, so we'll land in Shavasana, getting nice and comfortable, wiggling around, getting any last movements out of the way, and then slowly settling into stillness. Just observing the breath right now, not trying to change it. And if it's comfortable, bringing the eyes to a soft close. Just observing any thoughts that are coming into the mind, noticing them, and then letting them go, sending them on their way. On the next breath, we'll take a nice deep inhale, sigh out on the exhale. 2 more times. After the second deep breath, just coming back to a natural breath. Something that you don't really have to think about, something you can just observe. Start to add a little bit of effort into the breath. Introducing the yogic breath, which is a 3-part breath. Starting with an inhale, we feel the belly rise up as it fills with air. Allow that inhale to continue up into the chest cavity, feeling the chest cavity rise. One last little bit into the collarbone. And then exhale in reverse order. Collarbone, chest, abdomen. Continue with this yogic breath for a few more rounds. Noticing the sensation of the breath working its way up and down the body like a little wave. We'll enjoy one more round of the yogic breath before coming back to a natural breath. Again, that's that breath you really don't have to think about, a breath that you can move with. Taking the next few moments to set an intention for this morning's practice. An intention can be anything from a word or a phrase, or even a picture of something you really like. Just something that brings you back to the moment, brings you back to your mat and the here and the now, when the mind starts to wander. And it will wander. Maybe the dog runs around the house or a kid comes in and asks you a question. Use that distraction to bring you back to the intention. Once the practice breath has been set and the intention's been set as well, we'll start to slowly wake the body up with small movements, wiggling out the fingers, wiggling out the toes. Eventually rolling the wrists and rolling the ankles, getting any little cracks and pops out of the way. And let's reach the hands to the back of the mat on the inhale, coming into a full body stretch. Sighing it out on the exhale. Good morning. If the knees aren't already bent, we're going to bend both knees, placing the soles of the feet on the outside edges of the mat and allowing the knees to fall in towards one another. Hands can be up overhead, on the abdomen, or by the side, whatever is most comfortable for you. On your next exhale, we'll slowly allow the head to fall over to the right side of the room. Just allow the head to feel heavy. Don't chase any sensations. Don't force anything. With an inhale, guiding the head back to center, exhale over to the left side of the room. Continue this back and forth motion with the head, inhaling to center, exhaling over to one side or the other. And with these very basic movements, bring attention to connecting the breath to the movement. It's really one of the biggest things that differs yoga from exercise. Linking the breath with movement. We'll do this one more time to either side. Before meeting back in the center. We'll separate the knees a bit, scooch the feet in so they're about hips distance apart and the knees are separated. This time on the exhale, similar to the head, we're going to let the knees fall over to the right side of the room. Again, really not forcing anything or chasing any sensations. Inhale the knees back to center. Exhale the knees over to the left side of the room. So we slowly start to wake up the spine. Continuing this back and forth windshield wiper-like motion at your own pace with your own breath. If you want to explore a different sensation here, allow the top leg to lead the way. So if the knees are over to the left, allow the right knee to peel up and away until there's a little bit of tension in between the two legs. And then allow that left leg to follow. Gently opening up the hips as well as warming up the spine. Do this one more time to either side. Feel free to send the gaze in the opposite direction of the knees as well. Coming back to center after you go one more time to either side. And we'll gently hug the right knee in towards the chest. Feeling free to grab on top of the knee and guide it towards the chest, or place the hands underneath the knee. Also, you can use a strap if that makes this pose a little more accessible. Just making sure you listen to you. You know your body best. Anything I say is really just a suggestion. Left leg can stay bent, or you can extend it along the mat if that's in the practice. Feel free to roll out the right ankle here, getting any little cracks and pops out of the way. If the body's craving some movement, we can rock from side to side. bringing the knee back to stillness. And then we're gently going to circle the knee in one direction or the other, it doesn't really matter. Starting nice and small. Gradually allow those circles to get a little bit bigger. Connecting the breath with this simple movement as well. Then on the next breath, switching directions with the knee, this time starting with the bigger circles. Gradually allow the knee circles to get a little bit smaller. A little bit smaller yet. And eventually, the circles get so small that the knee becomes still. We'll send the sole of the right foot up towards the ceiling, releasing the knee but keeping it bent, coming into half happy baby. You can keep the hands just below the knee, or you can reach up for the sole of the right foot. Again, not forcing anything, really listening to the body and staying within your practice. Gently guide the top of the knee towards the mat. Don't force it there, just gently guide it. Move into any available space on the exhales. If it feels good to rock from side to side, you can do that. Maybe you want to straighten the leg. We're going to enjoy one more breath here in half happy baby. And then on the exhale, releasing the sole of the foot, keeping the knee bent, and bringing the sole of the right foot onto the inside of the left leg, coming into supine tree pose. Allow the outside of the right knee to fall down towards the mat. It's literally like tree pose, but we're on our backs. Maybe you find it a little bit easier to balance here. Hands can be on the belly, by the sides. If it feels good, reaching for opposite elbows overhead. If we're reaching for opposite elbows overhead, just making sure that the shoulders stay grounded, that they're not floating. We want them nice and grounded. And we'll enjoy some breaths here. We'll enjoy one more breath here in supine tree on the right. And on your next inhale, releasing the right foot, allowing it to go along the mat with the left leg, reaching for the back of the mat with the hands coming into a full body stretch, sighing it out on the exhale. One more nice deep breath here. The next breath, bending the left knee and gently guiding it towards the chest. Maybe the right leg stays straight, or we can also bend it, placing the sole of the foot on the mat. Again, really, whatever floats your boat. Listen to your body. Again here, the hands can be on the knee or they can be below the knee. Whatever works. Feel free to roll out the right ankle, left ankle. You can roll out the right ankle too if you want. And then we'll start the knee circles on the left side here. Gently starting with nice small circles. Almost feels as if we're not even moving. Really nice and slow. If you think you're going really slow, slow it down even more. Gradually allowing the circles to get bigger but not faster. And a little bit bigger yet. Coming back to the intention that you set at the beginning of class. After one more circle in this direction, we'll go the opposite way, starting with big circles. And allow the circles to gradually get a little bit smaller. Allow them to get a little bit smaller yet. And then so small that the knee becomes still. Coming to half happy baby on the left side. So just directing the sole of the left foot up towards the ceiling, keeping the left knee bent, and just gently guiding the left knee down towards the floor. Again, it doesn't need to make it there. Feeling free to reach up for the sole of the left foot with the left hand. On the next breath, releasing the left leg, keeping the knee bent, and coming into supine tree on the left side. Knowing that one side maybe feels different than the other, and that's totally cool. Listening to the body and just breathing in any places of tension. We'll continue to enjoy some breath here. If you need a block to place on the outside of the knee to help keep it supported, so if the knee is, floating up off the ground and it feels like there's some tension in the groin, just placing a block there to support the knee. We'll enjoy one more breath here. With the next inhale, sending the hands to the back of the mat, releasing the left leg alongside the right, coming to that full body stretch. Sighing it out on the exhale. One more deep breath here. Awesome. We'll gently hug both knees in towards the chest now. Rocking gently from side to side. And then coming back to stillness with the knees. We're going to send both knees in opposite directions. Starting with some knee circles. Again, both knees, opposite directions. Start with however big a circles you want. If you want to start small and gradually get bigger, go for it. If you want to start with ginormous circles, go for it. Making sure we're linking the breath with the movement. After one more time in this direction, we'll go the opposite way. After one more circle, we'll bring the knees back to center, hugged in towards the chest. On the next exhale, we'll gently roll over onto the right or left side. It really doesn't matter. Coming into the fetal position. If you roll onto your left side, using your left bicep as a pillow or a block or a blanket. And if you roll over onto your right, using your right bicep as a pillow. Or again, grabbing a block or a blanket. Just making sure you're comfortable. Bringing the knees as close to the hip line as possible, or above. This helps to release the lower back. And just enjoy a few breaths here into the back body, imagining that there's nostrils on either side of the spine. And you're breathing into that place, breathing into those nostrils. Feeling the ribs gently expand on the inhales. Slowly contract on the exhales. With the next breath, we'll slowly make our way up into a comfortable seated position. Maybe you want to smile. I like smiling. And you can be sitting at the front of your mat or on the side of your mat, facing the device you're using if that helps, if you want visuals, or if you just want to listen, don't look at the video at all. So making sure we're comfortable. If you want to sit on a bolster or block, that's cool too. Inhale the hands up overhead. Maybe a big smile comes to the face. Exhale, right hand down towards the mat. Left hand can stay up, reaching over to the right side of the room gently, or we can just place the hand on the back of the head, making sure we're not caving forward with the chest. We really want to keep that chest open. So if that means coming out of the pose a bit, that's what we need to do. With an inhale, coming back to center, both hands up overhead. Exhale, left hand down towards the mat, reaching over towards the right side of the room. Again, hand can get placed on the back of the head or reaching over, keeping that chest open and feeling the right side body open up. Do that one more time to either side. Inhale, back to center, both hands up. Exhale over to the right, right arm down. Inhaling back to center, and exhale over to the left. Inhaling back to center, both hands up. Exhale, releasing the hands. We're going to switch positions with the front leg. So if the right foot was in front of the left, bring the left foot in front of the right. Awesome. This time we're going to introduce some gentle twists into the body. So inhaling the hands up overhead. Exhale, left hand to right knee. Right hand behind the body. And just gently twisting. Maybe the twist is right here today. That's totally cool. Maybe it's a little bit further, but really not forcing anything. Rising through the crown of the head, sitting up tall. On the next inhale, bringing both hands back up overhead. Exhale, twisting over to the right side. Right hand to left knee. Left hand behind the back. Do that one more time to either side. Inhale, both hands up overhead. Maybe a nice morning smile. Exhale, left hand, right knee. Gentle twist. Inhaling the hands back to center. Exhale, right hand, left knee. And last time, inhaling back to center. This time on the exhale, both hands just get released beside the body. Slowly make our way onto our knees into tabletop position. So you can face the front of your mat. Feel free to grab a drink of water. Maybe towel off if you've got the room cranked like it's a hot room. Taking care of you and eventually slowly finding your way into tabletop. Bringing attention to the alignment. We want our shoulders over top of our elbows, which are over top of our wrists. If there's ever any discomfort in the wrists, we can always come up onto our fists as well. Making sure that we have a slight micro bend in the elbows. So I'll show you this looking at the camera. So we don't want our elbows hyperextended. We just want a little micro bend. So we're using our muscles to hold us up and not our joints. Continuing back with the alignment, making sure the hips are over top of the knees and the shoelace parts of the feet are flat on the mat. We don't want the toes curled underneath here. Shoelace parts of the feet on the mat. And we'll introduce some cat-cows. So on the inhale, allow the belly to fall down towards the mat. Gaze to come gently forward. This is cow pose. On the exhale, back comes up between the shoulder blades. Gaze gets tucked down, chin gets tucked to chest. And this is cat pose, looking like a scared cat on Halloween. Moving through these movements at your own pace with your own breath. We'll do this one more time to either side. And then the next time, we'll keep continuing through neutral table, back into cat pose. And keeping the cat pose held, we're going to send the hips back towards the ankles. Coming into a brief child's pose. Inhale, we start to curve the back as if we're going into cow pose and slightly draw the body forward. Eventually coming into cow pose. Again, allow the back to head between the shoulder blades into cat pose and send the hips back to the ankles, holding that cat pose into child's pose. Continuing with these little circles 2 more times. Introducing the spine of the cow pose, coming forward. Exhale the cat pose, sending the hips back to meet the ankles. 1 more time. This time when we meet back in child's pose, allow the forehead to come down to the mat. Gently rocking the head from side to side. When our forehead is in contact with the mat and we rock it from side to side, we're activating the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the system that's in charge of relaxation. It's the opposite of the sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight or flight response, which is usually triggering most of the day. Taking a nice deep inhale. And on the exhale, tiptoeing the fingers over to the right side of the mat, coming into a gentle side body stretch over to the right in child's pose. Inhale, tiptoe the fingers back to center. And exhale, send them over to the left side of the mat, opening up the left side body. Inhale, walk the hands back to center, and enjoy another breath in child's pose. Looking forward on the next inhale, we're going to gently draw our body back up into tabletop. Two options here. We can modify plank, so it's just stepping the knees about 6 inches back, coming into a modified plank, or we can come up onto the toes, engaging the core, engaging the glutes, keeping that micro bend in the elbows, coming into full plank. On the exhale, we're going to do a 3-breath chaturanga, keeping the elbows hugged in tight. 3, 2, 1. Allow the chest to hit the mat. Release the toes, shoelace parts of the feet flat on the mat. Coming into baby cobra with the inhale. Gently rising the chest up off the mat using the back muscles. Maybe the hands release. Exhale, allow the chest to come down towards the mat. Enjoying a breath here. And then on the next exhale, send the hips up and back into child's pose. With an inhale, drawing the body forward into tabletop. And we're going to curl the toes underneath and gently lift the knees 1 inch off the ground, starting to warm up the core. If you want to make the pose a little bit harder, smile. That's always fun, and I swear it makes it harder. Exhale, releasing the knees, kind of clapping out the toes here, and then curling the toes underneath, sending the hips up and back into the first downward dog of the day. Gently walking out the dog, straightening one leg, straightening the other. Keeping a nice deep bend in the knees, not to worry about getting the heels down to the mat. With an inhale, we're going to look forward. On the exhale, walk, step, or hop the feet up towards the hands into a forward fold. Allow the head to hang heavy. With the next inhale, keeping the right hand on the mat, right knee bent, reach up towards the ceiling with the left hand, coming into a standing twist. Exhale as we head to the opposite side, left hand down towards the mat, bending the left knee, maybe the right knee straightens as we lift the right hand up towards the ceiling. Standing twist on the right. Exhale, releasing the right hand. Inhale, palms meeting shins, coming into a flat back. Exhale to a forward fold. Inhale to rise all the way up, slowly 1 vertebrae at a time, hands reaching up towards the ceiling. Great big morning smile. Exhale with a sigh. Awesome. Let's flow through a Sun Sal A. Inhale, the hands up overhead. Exhale, bending the knees, hinging at the hips, coming into a forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale to a forward fold. When the hands meet the mat, send the feet to the back of the mat, coming into a plank or modified plank, and going through a chaturanga, which is like a tricep push-up. Inhale to a flat back or up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. And we're going to hold here in downward facing dog for about 5 breaths. Taking this time to grab a drink of water. Or if you want to challenge yourself this morning, go through another vinyasa, which is where we draw the body forward into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Have about 2 more breaths here in downward facing dog. On the next inhale, looking forward. Exhale, walk stepper. Hop the feet up to meet the hands. Inhale to a flat back, palms meeting shins. Exhale to a forward fold. Inhale to rise all the way up. Gentle back bend at the top. Exhale, hands by the sides. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, bending the knees, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold, palms of the hands meeting the mat. Send the feet to the back of the mat and go through a vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. This time allow the knees to head down towards the mat, sending the hips back into a child's pose once again. Gently going to walk the hands back to meet the hand. Walk the hands back to meet the hands. No, I'm kidding. Walk the hands back to meet the knees, rising up into hero's pose. Now this pose can be quite uncomfortable. We're not going to stay here for long. You can keep the shoelace parts of the feet flat on the mat, or you can rise up, curl the toes under, and sit back on your toes. Just taking a couple breaths here. And slowly just rolling over onto one side or the other, coming onto your seat, and we'll gently make our way down onto our mat. If you're using a block today for any reason, make sure that block's close to you. We're going to come into legs up pose shortly, and some people like to use that underneath the sacrum. So just locate that, grab a hold of it, and then find your way onto your back. Keeping the knees bent. So gently bring the ankles in towards the seat, and we'll press the palms of the hands down into the mat. On the next inhale, gently rise the hips up off the mat, coming into bridge. Noticing if our knees are splaying out or curving in. Sometimes we can put a block in between our knees and squeeze it together, just to keep that proper alignment. Exhale, releasing the hips. On the next breath, coming into legs up pose, if that's in the practice. So, very creative name for this pose. We're just going to put our legs up towards the ceiling. We'll activate the feet so that the soles of the feet are pointed up towards the ceiling. Maybe the knees don't straighten, the legs don't straighten. Feel free to keep them bent. That's totally cool too. Enjoying a few breaths here. And this is where, if you want to use that block underneath the sacrum, which is the little triangle part of the body, little triangle bone right above the tailbone, you can gently rise the hips up, place the block underneath, and it might take out a little bit of work for you. It might make things a little bit easier and more comfortable. After one more breath, releasing the pose, bending the knees, hugging the knees in towards the chest. We're gently going to roll over to the right side. Eventually opening the hands up into a T position, coming into a deep twist. Gaze can be over to the left, up towards the ceiling, or over to the right. Really, it's whatever's most comfortable for you. We're going to enjoy a few breaths here, making sure that the shoulder is grounded on the mat. If the shoulder happens to be lifted or hanging, what we're going to do is bend our left hand or left elbow, place the palm of the left hand on the left side body, and just allow the elbow to come down towards the mat, taking any weight out of that shoulder joint. We're going to enjoy some breath here. Enjoying one more breath in the twist on the right. And then on your next breath, we're going to bring the left hand back across the body to meet the right. And then we'll slowly find our way back to center. Taking a breath here in the center to reset. And then on the exhale, sending the knees over to the left side or the opposite side, whatever side you didn't do. And opening the hands up into a T position. Bringing attention back to the intention that was set at the beginning of class. We'll enjoy 2 more breaths here in the deep twist on the left. After your second breath, just bringing the right hand back across the body to meet the left. Slowly coming out of the twist as we guide our knees back to center. Going through any last movements you need to do before you find your way into Shavasana. Or if this is how you're going to start your day, doing any last movements that you want to do before springing up and tackling whatever it is you have to do today. Once you're done any of those final movements, gently finding your way into your most comfortable version of Shavasana. If there's any discomfort in the lower back, feeling free to bend the knees, placing the soles of the feet on the outside edges of the mat and allowing the knees to fall in towards one another. Comfortable, bring the eyes to a soft close. And if that's not comfortable, just finding a place on the ceiling, a focal point, and bringing a soft gaze to that point. And one last last time, bringing attention back to the intention. Asking yourself if this intention is something you want to take with you off the mat today, or if it's something you're done with, if it's served its purpose and you're ready to let it go. Taking one last deep breath together. Allow the body to melt away into the mat, starting at the crown of the head, releasing any tension in the forehead. Allow the eyes to feel heavy in the sockets. Allow the jaw to relax and the tongue to fall from the roof of the mouth. Allow the melting sensation to continue down through the shoulders, the upper arm, the forearm and the hands. Continue melting down through the upper back, the chest, the mid-back, the abdominals, the low back, the hips, the glutes, the thighs, the knees, the calves, and finally the feet. Staying here for as long as you want, taking your time, enjoying the Shavasana. Thank you for spending the last little bit with me and with your mat. Have a great day. Namaste.